Hi, I'm Sam. I'm the specialty team leader at Local Quality Markets. Our department handles cheese, deli meats, fabulous olives, fresh pasta made in-house, all sorts of other great goodies. And I'm here today to show you how to build a simple, straightforward cheese board with items that you'll have around the house and you can easily get at the grocery store. First, we've got to showcase the cheeses we've got today. We've got a fabulous brie. We've got a red Leicester, which adds some great color. It's actually colored with a natural coloring agent called annatto. It's just seeds sort of crushed up and added into the curds when they make the cheese. The brie that we've got here today is just a nice mild brie. I like picking something simple and straightforward that's going to be a great crowd pleaser. We also have a really great manchego, a nice young manchego. It has the great signature features of a really classic manchego, which is a nice butteriness, little bit of a tang. Manchego is actually made with sheep's milk and exclusively made in Spain. And then we've also got an Alpine cheese that's locally made here in Edmonton. So basically what I want to start with is each of the cheeses, we're going to kind of cut them up in different ways, make them really nice and lovely and presentable. The brie, we're not going to make it very difficult for you. All that I like to do is cut a nice little wedge. Basically, you want to show your guests at whatever kind of gathering that you're having that it's okay to dig right in. As soon as you put this cheese board out, it's good to go and ready to serve. So I like to just put a little wedge here. The first person can just grab that wedge, and it's just makes a nice little statement on the board. And then we've got our red Leicester here, a little crumble off there. So what I like to do, and with most of the cheeses I put out, I like to sort of show the style of the cheese, showcase the texture, showcase kind of what it's all about. So with this one, I find it to be nice and crumbly. So what I'm gonna do is, I could even just do this with my fingers if I wanted to. I know a lot of people would rather just use utensils, which is totally fair, but you just break it apart. Try to keep the pieces kind of even so that your guests are getting kind of an even share, but some people might prefer a smaller piece, some people might prefer a larger piece. And yeah, you just kind of break it apart like that. And you get a nice sense of that kind of crumbly texture of the cheese. It already gives you that visual cue, so your guests will know, oh, this is a nice crumbly cheese. It's gonna be nice and soft and crumbly. Plate it like this, and that one's good to go. And we've got our manchego. Traditionally, manchego is cut into nice thin slices. So we're gonna do our best to do that, but what you're gonna do is the outer edge is actually wax. It's not edible. So you're gonna wanna trim that off before you serve it. So it's where I'm gonna start. Don't worry about getting this thin, and don't really fuss about getting it super even. Every slice does not have to be the perfect, the same width or anything like that. I'm not getting out my measuring tape. It's all gonna get eaten and people are gonna love it just based on the flavor of the cheese, and presentation is just a bonus, right? What I like to do is you'll alternate the pieces, and see, even this is breaking apart, but it's part of the great texture of manchego. So you just alternate pieces like this, and so it looks really, really great when they're all lined up in this row here. Really the key in building a really fabulous board is trusting your own taste. What you like, your friends and family are most likely to really jive with as well. Pick the items that you gravitate towards. Find lots of different textures, and not just in the cheeses, but in all the fabulous accompaniments that you have as well. So we've also got this awesome Alpine cheese. So with this Alpine cheese, what I'm doing is trimming off the rind. Technically, this rind is edible. I prefer not to eat the rind. It has a very, very different flavor to the rest of it. And basically I'm just gonna cube this kind of stack these up because I'm just gonna keep cutting these down until they're nice cubes. And again, not necessarily perfect, and that's okay. They're delicious, and all of this, I'm sure, will be gone in minutes. All right, so we've got all our cheeses. I'm just gonna kind of gather them in the four corners, but you can play around with it. We have 4 cheeses out today, so we're just gonna kind of keep it symmetrical. I would also like to add, as a good rule of thumb, when you're building out a cheese or charcuterie platter, the typical rule of thumb is 3, 3, 3, 3. So around 3 cheeses to give you a good variety, around 3 meats to again give you a good spread of different meat options, and then 3 starches or bread, like carbs and breads, and then additionally you're gonna have 3 other pairings like fruits, nuts, olives, and things like that. Next, I wanna put out our meats. So we've got some domestic prosciutto here. Again, it's something you can find, down the neighborhood. You'll definitely find it at Loca. We'll have some fabulous prosciuttos for all of our customers. You just wanna kind of take them from this flat format that they're served in and make them a little bit more dimensional. So again, it doesn't need to be like super fancy, but you can kind of wrap them up and make like a little rose, or however you decide to do it. If you're looking to figure out how much cheese, how much charcuterie you need, a good rule of thumb across the board is if it's the main meal, then it's 200 grams per person. If it's an appetizer, then you're doing 100 to 150 grams per person. So again, we're not getting super fancy with it. We just, want to make it sort of dimensional. You don't want to just lay this all out flat on the board like that. So we're just bringing a little bit more fun into it. All right, so we've got a spicy salami here. For this one, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna fold this up nicely because it kind of lends itself better. That's another thing, like we talked a little bit about, kind of showcasing the texture of the cheeses. With the salami as well, we wanna, don't try and make this prosciutto that's falling apart into something that it's not. If it looks a little bit messy, then maybe have fun with that, right? With these salamis, you can kind of fold them up. So you just fold in half once and half again, and then you can kind of stack them and create kind of a little pathway with them, which is kind of fun. And it helps break up all the little items on the plate, all of your cheeses and everything else. This is falling out here like this, but some people recommend putting a toothpick in the middle there. I would not. Don't hide things in here, especially sharp objects. Keep it simple, just leave the food on here and have your toothpicks off to the side. So we've got our, baseline here, and now we've got some fabulous accompaniments. We've got these awesome Castelvetrano olives. Keeping them in the brine, they get a little bit dried out when they're not in the brine. They're still really awesome with a cheese board because they offer just kind of a nice acidic, briny brightness that sort of cuts through some of this more like heavy fattiness that you get from a lot of these cheeses here. So I love to have like just a nice olive that sort of like, brightens up your mouth a little bit before you dive right into the next cheese. I also love to have a spread. This is a fig orange spread. It's a really classic combo. I love figs. Like if you can find fresh figs, like definitely bring them in. But in a pinch, a fig spread is also an awesome option. So we'll just kind of, play around with placing them around the board. We've also got some grapes here. I wanted to get some red grapes, so we have a little bit more color going on here. So probably put this here, and then maybe put our grapes kind of spread out here. And again, you don't have to get too fancy with it. Just lay them out and there you go. And with the nuts, actually I'll wait till add the nuts because they're kind of a nice little topper on top of everything. It's kind of like the cherry on top. If you have fresh herbs, that's another nice option to sort of spread on top or intermingle, just to give a little bit of an accent to the plate. So we've got this awesome baguette from our bakery department and these fabulous crackers that our bakery team made for us. I'm basically gonna kind of continue to make little pathways and just kind of bring these in here. I like to make sure that there's a cracker or baguette option right near my bries, just to make it really clear for anyone who's just grabbing from a corner. It's right there, easy to grab a little cracker for it. Most people aren't eating a brie straight, you know, in their hands. They like to spread it on a cracker with some fig spread. So you know what, actually, I can move this here. Yeah, so we'll have our fig spread right there next to our brie. We just wanna kind of make it kind of pop out, like think about it like a pop-up book, and you wanna kind of fill in the space that you have. So we've got these fabulous crisps that have chocolate, almonds, like all sorts of nuts and stuff in them. I think some dried cranberries in there and apricots. And then we've got these kind of biscotti crackers that our bakery team made as well. We'll just kind of add those in, but it's looking pretty good to me. Yeah, and we're gonna kind of just fan these out. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I'll be happier when I'm eating it. Yeah, so this is a pretty straightforward cheese board. It took me maybe 20 minutes to put this together. Very low stress. This is all items that you can find at your local grocery store, especially at Loca out in Sherwood Park. We're gonna be happy to provide all these fabulous items for you when you stop by. And thanks so much.